let you, Judge Pokemon Drag Race at the start of April, I let you all vote on a cast of 12 Pokemon comprised from the past 6 seasons of You Judge Pokemon Drag Race that we've done over here on the YouTube polls. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. And as per usual, instead of putting them into simulators or judging them myself, I put them into YouTube polls for you to judge. For each episode, I nominated tops and bottoms, and then I gave them to you to decide who would be the top 2 of the week and who would be up for elimination. The gag of the season, though, was we did lip sync for your legacy, which meant the top 2 of the week would lip sync for the chance to eliminate one of the bottom 2. And who they picked was up to me, based off of how I thought the storyline would play out. If you like this type of video, please be sure to leave a like. And if you really like it, you could even subscribe. Also, let me know down below in the comments whose team you're on for this season and why. Now, it's finally time. Let us get into You Judge Pokemon Drag Race All-Stars. Alright, so starting off with our cast reveal. First things first though, if you hear any background noise, my windows are open because if they're not, I'll cry. But people are doing stuff outside and I don't know what's going on, so hopefully they're not too loud. With this being All-Stars, we have 6 whole seasons of contestants to pick from. And instead of just picking who I wanted to bring back and who I liked the best, I let you all vote for who you wanted to return in a Google form. So at time of recording this, I forgot to close this form, but I don't think people have added to it recently because it's old. There's 404 responses, which is so cool. And my decisions were based off of who got the most votes and who I thought would mesh well for a little storyline fun moment. I also didn't want to heavily weigh one season in this All-Stars over the others. We didn't want like a season 5 reunion kind of situation. Although you will notice that season 5 does have 1 more rep than the other seasons, and 1 season will have 1 less rep than the other seasons. But let's get going. We're gonna look immediately at our first season, You Judge Pokemon Drag Race Halloween. And we have brought back Miss Magius and Hatterene. Here are some little graphics that you can pause and look at if you'd like to that shows their track records. Miss Magius was a runner-up from their season. Hatterene was a pretty early out, 9th place, but did like good, and then got snatched in the Snatch game because Miss Magius beat her in a lip sync. So we got the 2 witchy divas. Miss Magius got the most votes for this season with 207, and Hatterene has 163. So those were the top 2 reps from this season. Moving into Aria's faves, we have Lilligant and Reuniclus coming back, 6th and 5th respectively. Lilligant got the most votes from this season with 176 votes, and then we have Reuniclus in 2nd with 151 votes. In terms of like top 12 contestants with the highest votes, would Reuniclus make it in? I don't think so, but look at that track record. Low, bottom, win, bottom, safe, high, a limb. That's crazy. And Lilligant, listen, she won her premiere, which we loved, but then she kept getting like stuck in the bad teams and getting a bunch of low placements for that. She kind of deserved another chance, so I'm happy y'all voted for her to come back. I was surprised Skitty wasn't someone who came back, but I'm excited that both of these 2 are back, especially because on our Why Is She Green season, these 2 did come back for a challenge together, which is really fun. Moving into our 3rd season, we got Winter Fantasy, and we got our runner-up Florges and Frostlass, who came in 5th place. Florges had the best track record of that season, and it was a really close run between her and the winner of that season, but she ultimately lost out. Florges was famously a part of the double Shantae in the Snatch game because of the great poll error incident in which I didn't write the poll properly, and it was confusing because I said these are the tops of the week, or these, yeah. Frostlass is a diva for the girls. All the gay people in the world love Frostlass, and yet she did not do so hot on her season. I might have sabotaged her, who knows? She was a fan favorite, but she definitely deserved better, so I'm happy to see her back here. Then for our first season of 2025, we have New Year, New Me, the season full of regional variants, evolutions added later, other forms of Pokemon that had previously existed in the past times, and we have Hisuian Zoroark and Iron Valiant returning. Hisuian Zoroark was a finalist and got a win right before the finale, but then ultimately just got snatched out. And then Iron Valiant was like, we saw this cast and it was like, oh, Iron Valiant's winning. And then they got eliminated 3rd, and we were like, wait, what? What? So they have the classic win safe a limb track record, which is crazy, and we were all gagged. I was gagged. Season 5, Season of Love. I think this might be the fan favorite season, if I'm so honest. The votes for this season, ooh, there was a very clear top 4. And I may have ignored the number one choice for the season, which was Sylveon. I didn't put her in here. However, the voting was all really, really close between Sylveon, Lopunny, Roserade, and Swoobat. And I thought Roserade and Swoobat coming back together would be a really good story. And then Lopunny was the second most voted, so Lopunny came back. So instead of bringing an Evolution back, I figured, hey, let's give these three another chance. Roserade and Lopunny, both Sinnoh girlies, have an alliance. Roserade and Swoobat have a story because they hate each other. They were rivals in this season, and it was super fun. And I feel like they were really main characters of the season more than Sylveon was, and I think Sylveon got the votes because Sylveon's for the girls' case and days, and that's why. And that leaves one contestant returning from Why Is She Green? Who is, of course, Lurantis, who has safe win plus disqualification. She was the clear front runner, and then y'all decided that it was not only the green season, it was also the 50-50 season, and then y'all tricked me into disqualifying someone random, and then the wheel landed on Lurantis, and she was going to win that season until that happened. So of course, she was actually the most voted to return out of this entire form with 263 votes, and then everyone else from Why Is She Green has very low voting in comparison. The second highest has 124 votes. So with that, I thought it would make sense to bring back 3 from Season of Love that had such high voting across multiple contestants, then try to just bring someone else from Why Is She Green to keep things even. So this is our cast all sitting together in the Untucked Lounge. You can see them all here, and this cast will slowly dwindle over time. Now, let's get into episode 1, which is the Victory Road talent show, which is, it's just a talent show with a fun name because sometimes they theme the talent shows, and I wanted to theme mine as Victory Road because they're on their way to their victory. As per usual, I nominate the tops and the bottoms for the season, put them into YouTube polls. You vote for who wins, who's safe, who's up for elimination, except in this season, instead of voting for the lip sync for the bottom 2, you're going to be voting for the lip sync for the top 2. So we'll get into that when we get there, but let's look at the nominations for the tops and bottoms for this talent show. We've got in the top, Iron Valiant, Hisui and Zoroark, Frostlass, and Roserade. And then in the bottom we've got Lilligant, Reuniclus, Lopunny, and Hatterene. Now, these bottoms were very controversial. People were very upset that I put Lopunny here. I don't know, I feel like Lopunny would kind of just do like a little walking pose. I think she could do something good for her talent show, and obviously she can jump. But just in comparison to the other 4 who we saved, which was who? Swoobat, Lurantis, Florges, and Miss Magius? I don't know what Lopunny could do better than them. Swoobat, I think, could do like a good comedy thing or something. I don't know. And it's so easy to throw the weirdo into the bottom. Like, that's how Reuniclus is here. But I think Reuniclus would actually do kind of fine. I think Lilligant would do fine. I think everyone would do fine in this. They're Pokemon, they're all talented. Let's talk about these tops, though. You all immediately voted that Roserade would be safe here. And she was gagged and gooped and pissed off about it because she's a contest girly and she is known for doing show-stopping talent show performances. So she was pissed at y'all for that, and she will never forgive you. It was really close between her and Frostlass. Roserade got 18% and Frostlass got 19%. So that clearly means that our top 2 of the week are Iron Valiant and Hisui and Zoroark, which I think makes sense. Hisui and Zoroark won the talent show on their original season, and Iron Valiant didn't get to do one, but they literally have like this spear baton thing they can use for a talent show, which is fun. I think Hisui and Zoroark could do illusions, impersonations. There's a lot to work with there. And then for our bottoms, like I said, y'all were pissed that I put Lopunny here, so she is safe. She is not getting a low placement here. However, Lilligant and Hatterene as the bottom 2, which I was surprised that y'all left Reuniclus low. I really expected Reuniclus to be first out because Reuniclus and Swoobat is very one of these things. It's not like the others in this cast. There's a lot of girly pop Pokemon here, and not that I'm going to say that Swoobat and Reuniclus aren't girly pop, but they're very weird girly pop as opposed to like high femme, high gender, high aesthetic girly pop. They're more sillies. So I was very grateful that you put Reuniclus low here because I agree. That does mean that we are losing one of Lilligant or Hatterene though, which Lilligant could do something dancing, Hatterene could do something magic. It was really gagging goop because Hatterene was actually in the top for her talent show in her original season, but what new could she do for us? Boom! We've got a top 2 of the week who are going to be lip syncing for the win and the chance to eliminate one of their bottom contestants. So, typically y'all vote for the lip sync for the elimination, and whoever loses the lip sync goes home. In this situation, before before I post the poll, I decide who each of the Pokemon we're going to eliminate from the competition if they got the chance to, based off of storylines and vibes. And then I put the poll out so I can't change my mind after the poll happened. Like, oh yeah, I totally thought this. And you just have to trust me that I didn't change my mind on any of those. I locked in with them. I put them down in a spreadsheet even. If you didn't participate in the voting, I think it will make more sense once we get through this part. So Iron Valiant, Hisuian Zoroark, lip sync for the win to Legendary by Kero Kero Bonito, and Iron Valiant wins the lip sync with 65% to Hisuian Zoroark's 35%. So Iron Valiant starting off a season strong with a win again, but Hisuian Zoroark still gets a top 2 placement, which is very good for them. And these are 2 lip sync assassins, clearly, so, you know. Now it is time for our Pokemon to reveal the lipsticks they chose. The lipsticks are next to the Pokemon that picked them, so you'll get to see who Iron Valiant eliminated, and you'll also get to see at the same time who Hisuian Zoroark would have eliminated. So let's just take a little looky in here. I need to stop saying the word so. Bam! Iron Valiant chooses to eliminate Lilligant from the competition, meaning she goes home in 12th place, which is really sad because we love her. We love her. She really deserved better in her original season. Oh my god. This hurt, but I kind of expected it. It was what I predicted. Hisuian Zoroark, however, did choose to eliminate Hatterene. And Hatterene's still here, which is going to be really, really awkward for them when they move to Untucked, which we're at now. Look, new Untucked format for this season because I thought it would be fun. Let's talk about what happened. Iron Valiant, very happy, starting off on a strong foot again. Hisuian Zoroark is excited about that early win, and Hisuian Zoroark is really excited about the power to eliminate another contestant. They think it's really fun. She is down for it. Of course, we've seen Lilligant is gone. She's not on the couch anymore, but before she left, she wished Reuniclus good luck because they are both from the same season, and now Reuniclus is the only rep left out of my favorite Pokemon. And of course, all the other Pokemon are like, well, how'd you make your decision, Iron Valiant? I'm just curious. And how'd you make your decision, Hisuian Zoroark? Let me tell you. Iron Valiant explains that they chose Lilligant's lipstick because they really related to Hatterene's struggle of doing really well early in the season and getting chopped suddenly out of nowhere, even though they were like a front runner. So they wanted to give Hatterene another chance because they were getting another chance. And Hisuian Zoroark is like, well, I'm not apologizing about this. Miss Lily has a Hisuian cousin, like, and they let me borrow their rhinestone tops, so I don't know what you want from me. And Hatterene's like, I won't forget this. Episode 2, we got Pokédance. You know Pokédance, like the boogie oogie bum bum, let's go body body boom boom. You know, it was popular like a year and a half ago, and now I'm making it a challenge on Pokemon Drag Race All-Stars. But it's still cute. We still like it. Our top nominees for this are Reuniclus, Lopunny, Roserade, and Swoobat, and then the bottoms are Frossass, Hisuian Zoroark, Miss Magius, and Hatterene. So the bottom is very spooky coded because this is a very cutesy-mootsy dance challenge that they had to perform in. And this is like a choreography. This is a choreography challenge. They don't have to write verses. They just have to do the dancing to it. And of course, Lopunny's a great dancer, Roserade's a great dancer, but because it's so cutesy and silly, I was like, Reuniclus has arms. Imagine Reuniclus doing the little pointing dance. That'd be so cute. Swoobat can dance. We know this. They perform really well in a lip sync challenge. Y'all were like, you're an idiot. And so at the time of recording this, I'm actually going to tell you, Reuniclus and Swoobat both have 12% on this poll. At the time of judging, Reuniclus had less percentage than Swoobat, so Reuniclus is safe, Swoobat is high, which does mean, of course, Lopunny and Roserade are the top 2 of the week. And all these bottom placements, listen, we know Hisuian Zoroark can dance, but Hisuian Zoroark is too edgy for a cutesy-mootsy song like this. Miss Magius doesn't, I don't know. They just don't get the vibe of the song as well. But don't worry, 2 of them are safe. And the first one that's gonna be safe is Hisuian Zoroark, because y'all were like, she can dance. This is canon. Why are we putting her in the bottom for a dance challenge? Because of the aesthetic. I'm sorry, y'all. However, you did agree with me that the Witchy Divas would not do so hot on this challenge, and so Miss Magius and Hatterene are both up for elimination here, which is a storyline because on their original season they were both up for elimination and Miss Magius sent Hatterene home. Also, Hatterene was just in the bottom, so she's like in dangerous territory. So between the Witchy Divas, someone's going home. We're gonna have 50% less Halloween representation, but that decision is gonna come down to Lopunny and Roserade, who get to lip sync for the win to We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love by Ariana Grande. Now this is a fun situation because they are both Stunnalina dancers and lip syncers. We know this about them. They are also both Sinnoh sisters. And not only that, this is also, I believe, a rematch. Because on their original season, Roserade actually sent Lopunny home right before the finale in a lip sync. So we get to see who would do better to Ariana. And y'all voted. Lopunny wins with 69% to Roserade's 31%. So Lopunny gets her revenge, but listen, they're sisters. They're not mad. They're silly. Then they're happy either way because they love each other. And they should kiss on the mouth. Anyways, let's get into this elimination. Who has Lopunny decided to eliminate? Hatterene. And Hatterene was done for this episode. 2 weeks in the bottom is a death sentence for her. And as mentioned, Lopunny and Roserade are Sinnoh sisters, and Miss Magius mayhaps could be a Sinnoh sister as well. So Hatterene goes home, unfortunately, in 11th place. In Untucked, Swoobat very happy with his high placement, and Roserade is like, hey, listen, I'm still better than you because I actually won. And Swoobat's like, okay, chill out, but whatever. And then Miss Hat had 2 weeks in the bottom, so that was a very clear reason for her to go home. But Miss Magius, being a Sinnoh sister, a Sinnoh girly, she had some pull with Lopunny and Roserade, and they mayhaps be making that Sinnoh sisters alliance. I'm just saying. You gotta watch out for the Sinnoh girlies. There's actually 4 of them, because Frostlass is right there too, and they're all on the right side of the couch together. Ooh, ooh. Anyways, episode 3, we got the Beast Ball. And for the Beast Ball, they have to serve 3 looks on the runway as per typical ball fashion. Number 1 is Ultra Space Travel, which is a fashionable look for traversing the ultra space. Category 2 is Aether Paradise Found, which is a look inspired by the Aether Foundation. And then 3, which is the one they're gonna have to make in the workroom, is the Ultra Beast Eleganza, an extravagant look based around the Ultra Beast they've been assigned. So here is our nominations for tops and bottoms. And look, I put their little beasties next to them in the top left so you can see who they got. Also, the way I went about picking their Ultra Beasts for them, because Lopunny won last week's challenge, she got to pick first, and then she got to choose who picked next. So there was a whole alliance string going down between them all, which is very fun. And I will tell you how that string went. So first, Lopunny, who's not on screen right now, she chose Pheromosa, and then she let Roserade pick, who's also not on screen right now because she's just safe, and she chose Xurkitree, passed it off to Miss Magius, who chose Nihilego. Is that how you say that? I don't know. Maybe it is. Miss Magius then lets Frostlass pick Celesteela, who then lets Florges pick Blacephalon. And Florges is actually maybe a traitor to the girls because she gives it to Swoobat, who picks Nagandel. Listen, I didn't play Gen 7, so I'm sorry. These names are hard. Who then also gives it to their fellow goober, Reuniclus, who picks Buzzwole. And then Reuniclus is like, okay, what the heck am I supposed to do here? Gives it to Lurantis because she's green, who picks Kartana. Lurantis gives it to Hisuian Zoroark, who picks Guzzlord, which leaves Iron Valiant in last pick, ending up with Stakataka. And we can see how this turned out for them because Florges, Lurantis, Frostlass, and Miss Magius are our top 4, and Swoobat, Reuniclus, Iron Valiant, and Hisuian Zoroark are our bottom 4, which is gaggy because I think Iron Valiant and Hisuian Zoroark are both known for having pretty solid runways. Iron Valiant even won the ball on their first season, so you know they were mad when they got Stakataka. Oh. So with all that information, let's get into your voting. Boom, Frostlass is safe. Listen, makes sense to me. Florges is canonically known for decorating herself. Lurantis is wearing clothes. Miss Magius is wearing a hat. Frostlass is also clothing based. But I think the matchups for the other 3 are all much stronger. Our top 2, however, is Florges and Lurantis, which I was kind of snatched by. I expected Florges, but I thought Miss Magius was gonna get a win here. I thought she was gonna be top 2. But Lurantis with Kartana, which I thought was a cool combination. Y'all agreed with me on that. So Florges and Lurantis get to lip sync for the win. But who's up for their elimination choices? Well, this is kind of snatching. Reuniclus was given a safe placement. which I did not expect. Reuniclus is getting good treatment from y'all this season, and I thought that Reuniclus was just gonna be a sacrifice, if I'm so completely honest with you. And you know who else wasn't sacrificed? Swoobat, because Iron Valiant and Hisui and Zoroark ended up with really bad Ultra Beasts for them. And they're the bottom two, which is crazy because, hey, episode 1, they were the top 2 together. So someone who's won a challenge is leaving today. Let's talk about Florges and Lurantis lip-syncing to Future Town by Pydo. If you don't know it, it's very J-pop idol, bouncy, spacey. Ooh, it's so good. And if you couldn't pick up from that vibe, Lurantis was going to be winning that lip sync, and they did, with 60% to Florges' 40%, which is honestly less of a blowout than I thought it would be. This does mean that Lurantis gets to pick someone to go home here. But who did Lurantis eliminate, do you think? Iron Valiant, who has now gone 2 seasons with the win safe a limb track record, which is really freaking funny, man. Why did they pick these lipsticks though? Well, let's get into Untucked to talk about it. Lurantis chose to eliminate Iron Valiant because they have a similar skill set to Lurantis. So logically, they figured they'd want to take someone out of the competition who might excel at the things that they are also good at, so that they have less competition, less direct competition. Florges says, hey, I picked Hisui and Zoroark's lipstick because, and Hisui and Zoroark is like, you're and Florges is like, listen, I sympathized with Iron Valiant's frustration and fear of being eliminated in 10th place again. Iron Valiant got to my heart. And Hisorian and Zoroark is like, listen, Iron Valiant didn't handle that with grace. They weren't being demure, they weren't being mindful, they were being really childish. If you need someone to be angry and upset to want to save them in this competition, look, I'm gonna show you anger. So that's kind of drama happening between Hisui and Zoroark and Florges now. They're kind of like at it, which is really fun. Episode 4, we have Detective Pikachu, the case of the missing Poffin, which is an improv challenge where they are improvising alongside the great Detective Pikachu. And how this works is every single Pokemon will be a suspect in the case for the missing Poffin, which is really funny actually because this challenge was done over a month ago at the time of recording this. So this was done in like April, early mid-April, and now we've had All-Stars 10 happen, and they basically did this challenge exactly, where the All-Stars were all giving their sides of the story in a murder mystery, and RuPaul was improvising alongside them. So I was like, wait, how did I manage that? But listen, it's fun. Here's our tops and bottoms nominations. Of course, Reuniclus and Swoobat would do great in an improv challenge. Lopunny is making a full circle moment because on her season, she did really good on an improv challenge and snatched everyone. So we put her there again, and Hisui and Zoroark can act. We know Hisui and Zoroark can act because they can transform. Our bottom 4, however, are Florges, Frostlass, Roserade, and Lurantis, who I think all would just really struggle with the be funny aspect of this improv. They might get tripped up over things not being scripted. They might just be too serious. Now, remember when I said that Reuniclus would, of course, do really well in a silly, funny acting challenge? Boom. Y'all said no, Reuniclus isn't funny, actually. And in fact, Reuniclus is subpar at everything, and they will never be able to win a challenge or go home in a challenge. I'm like, okay, cool. I really thought it was really obvious that Reuniclus would get a top placement here, but no, they're just safe. They're not even in the high placement, so cool, y'all, thanks. Also, Hisui and Zoroark, who can canonically, like, transform, not in the top either. Swoobat and Lopunny, Season of Love, you know, that's pretty interesting. I was very confident Swoobat would be in the top here, and I'm glad that y'all agreed with me and voted her the highest, because they deserve it. I don't know, I kind of don't trust y'all for putting Reuniclus as safe. But yay! Good job, Swoobat and Lopunny. I'm so proud of you. For the bottom 4, however, y'all were like, guess who else is gonna be safe? Roserade. And I was like, okay, sure, okay. Because I really put this bottom 4 together, being like, I really don't know who would do the worst and the best out of this, so I'll trust y'all. I think that this might be a factor of, people really like Roserade. Y'all really like Roserade. To me, I don't see Roserade doing well in comedy. I think she's too serious. I think she's too, Roserade gives me the vibe of someone who would need things to be rehearsed and wouldn't be good at shifting on the spot. But listen, that might just be me being a hater. So I'm trusting y'all with your decision here. She's safe. Lurantis is low, which means Florges and Frostlass. We've got another battle of 2 Pokemon from the same season. Winter Fantasy, someone's going home. And it's going to be decided by the Season of Love. So, Season of Love, Lopunny and Swoopony, lip sync to Twist the Knife by Rebecca Black. Because guess who got really into Rebecca Black right around this time? It was me. Yeah, it was me. And I was like, I think this is a good matchup for them. Because Swoobat is kind of like, can get that spooky vibe down. Because Twist the Knife is kind of Halloween-y in vibe. But then Lopunny really gets like the genre. She can dance, she can move, she can lip sync, and you know. I could see it going either way, and Lopunny gets the win with 59% to Swoobat's 41%. So, Lopunny gets to send a Winter Fantasy girly home, and this is tea, because if you recall, the Sinnoh girlies, the Sinnoh sisters, are Sinnoh sisters, and Lopunny eliminates Florges. Right after Florges gets a win, Frostlass, like at this point, she has a high, a low, a safe, and a bottom placement now. So she's not been doing too good in this competition. And she's still here, where someone who just got a win just went home, which is a little shady boots in my opinion, but go off. Swoobat was gonna eliminate Frostlass, and now they're both here looking at each other, which is really awkward. Especially now that we're in Untucked. Obviously, Florges is gone now, but like pre-Florges being gone, Hisuian Zoroark was like, I'm really mad at y'all for not voting me in the top, and I'm really upset that I didn't get to be in the top, because I really wanted to eliminate Florges. And hey, guess what? She is happy that Lopunny did it for her, but she wished she could have done it herself, because she would have loved to do that, and she would have like really enjoyed that. Swoobat, however, is, you know, getting a bit of heat, because, obviously, Frostlass is still there, and all 4 Sinnoh sisters are still there. I know we've got 4 Sinnoh sisters up against 4 non-Sinnoh sisters, which is getting very, very, dangerous for anyone who's not from the Sinnoh League. But Swoobat explains, like, hey, it was so obvious that Lopunny was saving Frostlass. I wanted to give Florges a chance to remain in this competition. Also, Florges, statistically, has been doing better than Frostlass, so sorry. Episode 5, Catch Game of Love. Now, we've done the Catch Game of Love before on the Season of Love. And the way this works is I put all 8 contestants into randomization, group them out into 2 groups, and then y'all vote for who's gonna win, be high, be low, and be up for elimination from each group. Also, this is the Catch Game, which is like Snatch Game, but they are trying to improvise in a funny way to prove why they would be a good catch, a good member for the team of the trainer guests. However, in this season, because it's Catch Game of Love, the special trainers also have their ace Pokemon out with them, and they're like, also, I'm gonna be a good match for your ace Pokemon. So Group A, this will make more sense now that you see this. Group A is the Team Steven group. Steven Stone and his Metagross from Pokemon Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby, those ones. And this is our group that we got randomized together. We got Roserade, Hisuian, Zoroark, Lurantis, and Lopunny that you all got to vote for, who you thought would do the best and who you thought would do the worst. And, who is the new match for Steven's Metagross? Oh, it's Roserade. Oh, this is 2 episodes in a row when y'all are like, hey, Roserade's actually gonna be good at comedy this season. And I went, oh, sure. So, Roserade gets to be in the top 2 and is a winner of this this catch game. Mind you, out of this group, I was like, I really don't know who would do good, but sure. I kind of thought Lurantis, which, you know, Lurantis wasn't that far behind. But also, Hisuian Zoroark, who y'all roasted me fiercely for on her season, for not putting her in the top, and in fact, putting her in the bottom for the catch game. Y'all like, that's crazy that you put Hisuian Zoroark in the bottom, because she can literally transform. And look, you're hypocrites. I'm just saying, y'all did the same thing I did, so we're even now. We can't say anything. We're the same. Also, Lopunny in the bottom for catch game, which is interesting because she also bottom for the snatch game on her season. And you know what else was cool about that is she also just won an improv challenge. So I don't know what's happening at this point in the season, but I'm just going with the flow. Group 2 is Team Wallace, the other queer champion of the Hoenn League. And of course, we have the rest of the contestants here. So we got Miss Magius, Frostlass, Swoobat, and Reuniclus. And of course, I'm like, well, Swoobat and Reuniclus are gonna be really freaking good because it's a comedy challenge. What is happening? What? Also, that number on Frostlass is wrong. I'm not fixing it. That's supposed to be a 29, I think. I'm not fixing that. I'm too lazy. I'm not gonna change your votes. You voted, your vote matters, your vote counts. Please go out and vote, it's very important. when you have the opportunity to do it, you should be doing it. But Reuniclus almost being in the bottom for a catch game was insanity. I'm sorry. They deserve better. They deserve better, and I am no longer giving them to you to judge. It's been a month, and I'm still not over this. I wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat thinking about Reuniclus almost going home on a catch game of a love challenge. Hello? But hey, Swoobat gets a win. That's very exciting for us, which is also very funny because then Swoobat and Rose Raid are going to be lip syncing for the chance to eliminate Miss Magius or Lopunny. Let's talk about it. They're lip syncing to the Poke Rap. Now, in the most loving way, I would like to ask you all who you think won the Poke Rap. Because I think it's pretty obvious that Swoobat was winning the Poke Rap. So, who does Swoobat get to eliminate out of Lopunny or Miss Magius? Us and her sister is going home here. And Swoobat picks Miss Magius, as does Rose Raid, so Miss Magius was donezo here. I'm sorry to say. Lopunny was safe, which is great for her, but Miss Magius is gone, which is sad, but she wasn't doing great in the competition anyways. This is our Untucked room. One Sinnoh sister down. It's looking good in terms of ratio now of non-Sinnoh sisters to Sinnoh sisters. Lopunny gagged fiercely that Swoobat didn't eliminate her, and she's like, I just eliminated Florges, who was like, had a win, and was like kind of friends with you. And like, I really thought I was done for there. And Swoobat's like, you should stop thinking out loud because now I'm regretting my choice and now I think I should have eliminated you. So, shh. Or I will find a way to go back in time or find a way to eliminate you coming up because you've just given me a really good reason to eliminate you in that you are playing this game kind of shady. Rose Raid, of course, picked Miss Magius' lipstick. I almost said lip stink. Maybe it was a lip stink. Both of them were Sinnoh sisters, so one of them had to go. And Lopunny is her Sinnoh sister, the original Sinnoh sister from the Season of Love. So they're the ride or die together, which I think everyone else is starting to notice. Episode 6 is the Pokken Tourney Lip Sync Battle. So this is the All-Stars for Lollapalooza Comeback Challenge, where the eliminated contestants get to choose the contestants who remain in the competition, lip sync against them, and if they win, they get brought back to the competition. But this is more than a lip sync. This is like a contest battle situation where they have to be like showy and cool and pretty and, you know, theatrics and all. This is a drag show. Swoobat and Rose Raid, however, as the winners of the catch game, get to sit alone in the VIP. I did think about waiting to do this challenge until we could have had a 50-50 split, which is what everyone kind of wanted them to do on All-Stars 4, but I didn't want to wait till top 6. So we're doing it now, and this is really funny because they are arch nemesis sisters, and now they get to sit here and awkwardly stare at each other while the rest of this episode happens, so good for them. For our eliminated contestants, the most recently eliminated gets to pick who they're up against first, and that was Miss Magius picking Reuniclus. They're out here on the Pokken Tourney stage, and they are going to be lip sync battling to Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan. And how did this vote go? Miss Magius wins with 69% to Reuniclus's 31%, meaning Reuniclus is no longer in the competition. And Miss Magius, who was just eliminated, has returned. Our next eliminated contestant was Florges, who is chosen to lip sync against Frostlass, the winter fantasy sister of it all. Also, the other one who was up for elimination when Florges got eliminated. So she's like, hey, if I can come back, I'm taking you out because I think you deserve to go home when I got eliminated. And the song they got, by the way, the songs were chosen by a wheel. I put all the songs on a wheel and randomized it for them that way. That's how that was done. They got Untouched by the Veronicas, which to me is kind of an edgy song. So like Frostlass being a ghost type, I think could do that really well. But honestly, they're both pretty elegant and graceful. So it's a tight race in my brain, I guess. Florges won with 54% to Frostlass's 46%, meaning that another contestant in the competition has gone home for someone else to come back now. Not that Frostlass was doing great, and I'm happy Florges is back. I love Florges, and she had a win, so good for her. But this is getting kind of crazy, y'all. This is getting kind of crazy. I know I gave you the power, but Iron Valiant went home next and chose to lip sync against Lurantis because Lurantis eliminated them, and they randomly got Hallucinate by Dula Peep as their song, and they're here to make great TV because they are both lip syncers. But y'all were not taking the chance to lose Lurantis again after what happened to them in the Why Is She Green season? No. So Lurantis wins with 71% to Iron Valiant's 29%, and you know, I also think there was a degree of Iron Valiant having the same track record of win, safe, elim on both seasons that they competed on was just really funny. and it was too funny to give it up. So next we have Hatterene, who picked Lopunny because her options were Hisuian Zoroark or Lopunny, who are both great lip syncers, and Lopunny eliminated her, so let's make TV. But they do get Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, and Hatterene's like, hey, I'm a witch, I can abracadabra all day, every day. That's kind of my thing. However, it is not enough of her thing for her to win a lip sync of it to Lopunny. So Lopunny, 68% wins, gets to stay in the competition, and Hatterene is still gone. That does of course mean that Lilligant and Hisuian Zoroark are our final two who will be lip syncing against each other, and their song was 15 Minutes by Sabrina Carpenter, which is not a super Hisuian Zoroark song, and so Lilligant won that with 61% to Hisuian Zoroark's 39%, meaning that our first eliminated is now back in the competition, and Hisuian Zoroark, who had a win, is gone. And we've also now completely flipped our cast. So let's look at this. Here's what it looks like now in the Untucked room. 3 eliminations, 3 returns in 1 episode. Chaos has reigned. And let me just remind you all, this is all sillies, this is all goofies, this is all just so fun and silly and funsies. So it's not serious. Don't worry. Miss Maggie is very happy. She's like, listen, I was defeated, but now I get the second chance. I got the mystical fire inside me brewing. Flora just like vindicated as hell because she just sent home Frostlass after Frostlass was saved over her. Now she's back to get her revenge. And Lilligant, she's just like, hey, I get more screen time. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, no, the energy is all over the place in this room because the competition's completely flipped. Who the hell knows what's happening anymore? Not me, not them. I don't think you do either. So we're gonna find out. After we talk about Swoobat and Roserade, who have kind of trauma bonded here because they might not like each other. They might be the arch nemesis sisters, but they did get to see here together and watch chaos occur, and they kind of love the messiness, so they kind of bonded over being messies. Next episode with our brand new cast of 7. It's episode 7 for the Mystery Dungeon, the Rusical, which I've been waiting to do since our last season. This is going to be based off of Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue, which if you haven't played these games, please play them. The stories are so good, and each of our Pokemon has been assigned a key character from those games. So here they are in the tops and bottoms nominations. You'll notice that Lilligant and Roserade have themselves as their little characters, and that's because Roserade was playing the hero and Lilligant was playing the partner Pokemon, which both of those Pokemon get randomly decided based off of quizzes and stuff. They're not the same Pokemon every single time, so I just said, hey, you're you. Good luck, have fun. Flora just got Gardevoir, Miss Magius got Gengar, and then for the bottoms, Swoobat got Xatu, Lurantis got Rayquaza, however the hell you want to say it, and then Lopunny got Ninetales. Now, the other fun thing about this nomination situation is 3 of the top nominations are all of the returning Pokemon plus Roserade. So, we're not gonna have someone come back and be eliminated immediately, which I think is super fun. You did, however, put Miss Magius as safe, which I think makes sense. I think, obviously, Lilligant and Roserade are the protagonist roles in this story, so they're gonna do well, especially because they're both performers. And Florges with Gardevoir is just such a perfect match, and Florges gives Rusical more than Miss Magius does, so I'm down boots for that. But our protagonists, Lilligant and Roserade, are our top 2 of the week, which is very, very fun, especially because Lilligant was eliminated episode 1 and now has come back to just win immediately. So we love that for her. For the bottoms, guess what? They're all up for elimination. They sure all are. And the reason this happened was because Lurantis did the absolute worst and got the absolute bottom of the bottom votes on this situation with the Rayquaza. However, Lopunny and Swoobat tied. They tied in the voting. So guess what? We have a bottom 3. And Lilligant and Roserade get the power to eliminate here. But first they must lip sync to Story by Kylie Minogue, which is a really fun song. And who do you think wins this? Lilligant wins. Lilligant won this lip sync with 52% to Roserade's 48%, meaning that Lilligant, the comeback diva, gets the power to eliminate someone. But you know what's really fun about this is Lilligant hasn't been here all competition, so all she knows is Iron Valiant eliminated her, and that was rude, but she doesn't know what anyone else has done here. How'd she pick? Well, she picked Lurantis. Of course, Roserade picked Swoobat, but she picked Lurantis, which I'm sorry that she picked a grass sister. But there's a reason for it, which we'll talk about in Untucked now. Lilligant reveals that she chose Lurantis's lipstick because Lurantis did the worst in the challenge, And it was really, really obvious that Laurentis sucked this week. And obviously they got a hard roll with Rayquaza. Lilligant doesn't know how to say it either. She also doesn't have a mouth, so that's cool. But that's why she picked Laurentis. It sucked to send home a grassy sister, but it was the first way for her to make her decision. Roserade's like, hey, Swoobat, you were gonna be done for. And Swoobat's like, yeah, but like if I'm ever in the top and you're in the bottom, you better watch out, because you know the feeling's mutual. Episode 8, we have a design challenge. It's called Illumina Eleganza, because you know if I can ever find an opportunity to allow myself to use new Pokemon Snap as a reference in one of these videos, I'm gonna do it. Every single Pokemon got assigned an Illumina boss from new Pokemon Snap. So there's kind of spoilers here. So if you don't want to know who the bosses are from new Pokemon Snap, which came out multiple years ago, go away. But if you don't mind, it's fine. And Lilligant got to choose their roles for them. So let's look at this. Lilligant has chosen Meganium for herself. She gave Xerneas to Florges and Milotic to Lopunny. Then she gave Volcarona to Swoobat, Wishy-Washy to Mismagius, and Steelix to Roserade. Here's the dramas. I actually intended for this to be a season 17, the same way that we did the Lilligant picks first and then let someone else pick, and then they let someone else pick. But everyone in the comments was like, wow, Lilligant really gave Roserade a challenge here. So I'm running with that story. Lilligant gave Roserade Steelix, and she said, I believe in you, you can do it. Good luck, have fun. Obviously, we have a top 3 going on here, and only 2 of them can make it to that lip sync, and those 2 are Lilligant and Florges. So Lilligant not only was eliminated first, but now she's returned to the competition and has gotten 2 wins in a row. And Florges being in the top for design challenge, no one's surprised by. We all expected that. Plus, she also kind of objectively got the best choice with Xerneas, and they're both fairy types. For the bottoms, y'all saved Swoobat, meaning that a Sinnoh sister is going home here. And there's no Sinnoh sister in the top to save them. And this is tea. I was like, Swoobat's in the bottom here for sure. But y'all really resonated with the Swoobat Volcarona matchup, especially with them both having wings and both being from Gen 5. And y'all were like, Steelix, Roserade, and Wishy-Washy Mismagius are just such bad pairings that they deserve it. Lilligant and Florges go and lip sync to Lucid by Rina Sawayama. Florges gets the win with 60% to Lilligant's 40%. But hey, this does mean that Florges gets to eliminate someone though. And we've got 2 Sinnoh sisters up here. Obviously, Mismagius was a comeback with Florges and Lilligant, which is kind of fun, but also that means that she's been in the bottom a lot. And she's only ever had 1 high placement, so, but I'm gonna rip the band-aid off for y'all. Florges eliminated Roserade. Mismagius was going to be eliminated if Lilligant voted, if Lilligant won that lip sync, but Florges eliminated Roserade. And let's move to Untucked so I can talk about this with you, because some of y'all were real mad about this. I also left y'all on a crazy cliffhanger for this because I went and competed in a pageant which occupied my entire life for like 2 weeks. Let's talk about this though. Florges, before she reveals this lip sync, she goes, listen, I came into this competition to play a fair game, and I wanted to be in the band with the best of the best. But Lopunny eliminated me when I had a win against someone who had previously been in the bottom 3 before and had no wins. So when I got to return to this competition, I knew what I have to do. Like I now know what I have to do if I want to make it to the end of this competition. And with that means Roserade is getting eliminated because life's not fair. And Roserade was crushed. I think if she made it to the finale, she was gonna win, y'all. I think y'all were gonna give her the win, and now she's gone, and I'm sorry. So Roserade really is the Manila of this season. We really did just make All-Stars 4, didn't we? Lilligant is like, hey, Mismagius, sorry, Diva, but, you know, I'm playing fair. I'm trying to play fair, and you did the worst in the challenge, just like Laurentis did, so you're gonna be gone. And Mismagius is like, listen, I get it. So now we're in the semifinals with our top 5, and for this challenge, we are doing a Rumix, and it's the Pokemon Center Rumix, and they gotta write and record verses to that and perform them. Of course, because it's the top 5. We're just gonna have you vote for who is the top 2 out of our top 3 nominations, which is Lilligant, Swoobat, and Lopunny. So guess who's making it to the finale? All 3 of these. This does mean Florges and Mismagius will be up for elimination. We finally get our first 3-way percentage bar graph, which is really fun, so you can see exactly how this panned out. And Lopunny and Lilligant are the top 2 of the week. They both get the wins. So guess what? Lilligant now has a limb, return, win, 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 which is everything to me. This does mean Lilligant and Lopunny get to lip sync to Cosmic by Red Velvet for the chance to eliminate one of Florges or Mismagius, and Lilligant wins. So Lopunny now has a history of, in the top 5, lip syncing against a grass type who beats them. It's time for the final elimination before the finale, and Lilligant's choice, I think, here is very obvious. she has chosen to eliminate Miss Magius because she's been playing fair, and she tried to eliminate Miss Magius last time, and she's like, my answer's not changing. Lopunny, however, was going to be sending Florges home again for a second time if she got the opportunity to, but she didn't. And now they all get to sit in Untucked here. And look, we very swiftly went from Sinnoh Sister takeover to only one Sinnoh Sister left in this competition. Let's talk about the finale. Typically, All-Star seasons don't do a mixed congeniality vote, and I wasn't gonna do one. But I decided to put out a poll and say, hey, I don't even know who we should nominate for this. Do y'all want a mixed congeniality poll? And the options are yes, and I will comment who should be in it, or no, everyone is hateful. And shockingly, we got a lot of yes, and I will comment who. So we have a mixed congeniality. I will say 336 people voted and 82% of you said yes, and I will comment who, and there's only 21 comments. Sorry, 22 comments. So y'all owe me your comments on this video. I'm just saying. Here are our nominees for mixed congeniality. Typically, we don't put finalists in this, but I based this off of who y'all wrote down the most, and we got Lilligant, Reuniclus, and Swoobat up for the title of mixed congeniality. And drum roll, please. The winner of mixed congeniality of All Stars is Reuniclus. Yay! Y'all finally gave Reuniclus some flowers because they deserved it. They were out of the drama. They were getting snubbed left and right out of wins and eliminations, to be fair. And listen, I'm just happy they got something. Okay, so let's do this little review of our top 4, give you a recap on their journey throughout the season. Lilligant has 3 wins, 4.25 PPE. She was eliminated in the very first episode, missed out on 4 challenges, came back, and then won every other challenge that she was a part of. Florges, 2 wins, 3.14 PPE, also got eliminated and returned, but she only missed out on 1 episode, which was the Catch Game of Love, which she wasn't going to do good at anyways, so don't worry about that. She won the Beast Ball and the Illumina Design Challenge, so she basically is here to serve you a good look, and we love to see that. Lopunny, never eliminated, 3 wins, 3.63 PPE. Her wins were the Poké Dance Challenge, Detective Pikachu, and Pokemon Center Remix, so she can dance, and apparently she can do improv, which is nice. She did have a little bit of a low in the middle of the competition with this Catch Game of Love and the Rusical, but, you know, she picked it back up at the end of the competition. And then last but not least, we got Swoobat with 2 wins, 3.38 PPE, never eliminated, won the Improv Challenge, Detective Pikachu Challenge, and also won the Catch Game of Love. So yeah, that's them. I gave them all to you though and said, hey, they've all been challenged to do a show-stopping finale performance. Please vote for who you think would do the best and who you think deserves a chance at the crown. And here is how the voting turned out. Florges and Swoobat are both eliminated from the competition, and Lilligant and Lopunny have earned themselves the chance to lip sync for the crown. I always feel awkward doing silly voices, but I feel like I need to be dramatic. I feel like it needs it. So look at this top 2. Isn't this crazy? The 2 of them are now lip syncing for the crown. Their lip sync song is Strong Enough by Cher, which is a very good song. And whoever wins this lip sync earns the opportunity to be a winner and win. I'm nervous. I know who wins already, but some of y'all might not, because this poll went back and forth a ton. And honestly, it was probably good that I took so long to make this video, because it's very much leveled and it's not moving anymore. At the time of recording this, 3:57 p.m. on May 23rd, 2025, the poll has decided, after receiving 772 votes, that the winner of Pokemon Drag Race All-Stars is Lilligant! Lilligant! With 54% to Lopunny's 46%. And honestly, what a way to end the season. I think it makes sense. This season was absolute utter chaos. The mid-season returns really took over the story of the competition. And hey, if you couldn't have Rose Raid win, Lilligant is like the next gen Rose Raid, you know what I mean? I think it's pretty funny that Lilligant won, especially when we look at these track records. I'm gonna leave this up here while I yap a bit. Obviously, this season had some disconnects in it because of the gaps that happened because of my gigs and my work that started occurring. I think that's part of where the voting got a little funky at times because people didn't fully remember everything that was going on, and neither did I. But hey, we made great TV, I think. I think we sure did. I'll talk about this a bit more in the outro, I believe, but this is where this series is ending for now. If you want to keep looking at this track record, pause now, and I'm going to send you over to outro Aria to send you off on your merry way. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far and you haven't left a like on the video, please be sure to do that. It supports the channel so much, and it makes sure that videos like this will reach people like you. So that's cool. And you can even subscribe if you really want to. I won't tell anyone unless you want me to. Then I will. I'm sorry that the season took so long to get through. I had a few big drag events I had to focus on, as well as I started working in April, and I started working more in May. Ugh. But yeah, I appreciate your patience with this series. What I will let you know is we are going to be taking a break from it now that All Stars is done. We've done 7 seasons, which has been a lot of fun, but since work is ramping up for me for the summer, I don't want to consistently be leaving you on cliffhangers. So I'm gonna put my energy into other projects, such as streaming on Twitch. We're gonna be doing lots of shiny hunting, Mario Party, other things. So if you'd like to see me there, I'd love to have you join us. The link for that is in the description, Nina. And also, I'll still be doing some polls. It'll just be a bit more casual, and I'm still gonna be trying to get you at least a bi-weekly? Is that 2 videos a week or 1 video every 2 weeks? I'm gonna try to do weekly videos, but if I can't sustain that, we're gonna try to do 1 video every 2 weeks. I've got lots of fun ideas that I want to share with you, and yeah. Thank you for your support though. Thank you for everything. Love you. And I'm gonna go do drag, so I'll see you in another video. All right, friends? Bye-bye.